coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating more than 100 years in basketball. Goodyear, more driven. Malcolm Brogdon has joined us here on Inside the NBA, presented by Kia. Malcolm, thanks a lot for stopping by. We appreciate it. How good does it feel to be back in the mix after you watched these guys for basically 2 rounds?
I feel great. It's a blessing to be back out here. Super grateful to just be back on the court playing, and especially playing at this level.
I want to know what type of leader Giannis is. For example, I was a silly leader. I was the guy to keep everybody calm in the locker room. And when I watch him play and I listen to his interviews, he's not joking around. So can you tell me what type of leader he is in the locker room?
He's definitely, he's been, they're pretty loud.
Yeah, do me a favor. Put the mic up here so we can hear you.
Giannis, when I first got here 2 years ago, Giannis was more of a silent leader. He led by example, work ethic. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. But over the years, I've seen him grow vocally in the locker room. He's always been so serious, and I think now he's starting to really enjoy the game, be a little bit more silly, enjoy the moment, but also, be able to lead by example.
When you guys started this series, you watched the shot by Kawhi, you watched the effort that the Toronto played with. What was the one thing that you said, we have to stop this to win?
I think we have to match their energy, match their effort. This team is scrappy. They're talented. They make shots. They're a good defensive team, but I think they play hard every night, and they're going to compete. Guys like Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, people overlook how hard they play and how much they compete on the floor.
Well, you were out for a while with your injury. How did you keep your conditioning? Because you look like you haven't missed anything since you came back. I mean, it's hard to come back in the middle of the season and definitely in the playoffs, but you seem like you worked on your condition. I want to know how you're able to do that.
Man, it's on and off the floor. You got to watch what you eat. 2-a-days.
Well, there goes you. You're conditioning, Chuck.
Oh, no, I got it right there. Hey, listen.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Malcolm.
I got the 4 days down. I eat 4 times a day.
No, I'd have rehab in the morning, and then on my own, I'd usually come back at night and do extra conditioning, just because I knew the level that I was going to be stepping into when I got back.
Malcolm, when you look at this team as a whole and what it's been like under Mike Budenholzer here, is there a central theme, or is there a phrase, are there words to live by that he continues to hammer out, or that you guys live by on this team?
I would say let it fly. Everybody sees it as, shoot the ball when you're open, shoot it even sometimes when you're not open. He wants you to shoot it in rhythm. But I think that let it fly phrase speaks to more of having confidence in us, instilling confidence, and wanting us to go out and play hard and rely on each other.
So you're going to Toronto for 2 games. What was Coach Bud's message? Was it win 1 game at a time, or we're going to win 2 games?
Before you answer, because this is because Jeremy just said, we have Coach Bud in the locker room afterwards, so let's hear what he had to say.
Thank you.
No, listen.
Hey, just keep the mentality of getting better and better. That's what we got to do between 2 and 3, just like between 1 and 2. It's good stuff. Different guys stepping up, playing well all the time. That's what we do. We do it together, all right? Stay humble and stay hungry. Humble and hungry, all right? Bring it in. Come on.
I was asking questions because I played for a coach. Pat Riley, so like when we'd be playing well like this, he would come in the locker room and say, okay, we got 2 games. We ending it now. If not, you're going to be in trouble. So I was wondering what, Coach Bud had to say, and I heard what he had to say. So you don't have to answer that.
No, but what is the mindset as you hit the road?
It's really one game mentality. Just go in, try to win the first game, really focus on that, sort of try to let our energy and our competitiveness travel.
Well, I'll say this. We had our coaching meetings, and then we had guys that were very verbal, that was players. And I happen to be one of them. And I'm going to do this to you right now. You're 2 games away from the NBA Finals, brother. Let's go get that. That's how you're supposed to. That's the look that you're supposed to have to me as a player. You have to come back and say, we got 2 games and we're in the NBA Finals.
He's correct.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. It's been a long season. What was the low point of the season?
Personally, for me, it was getting injured. For other guys, we were a team that was so resilient during the season. We went for, I think, 60 or 70 games without losing 2 games in a row. I think there was one game where Giannis was out, and me and Chris struggled. We played the Magic here and got beat at home, and that was a game where we really struggled. We wanted to play while he was out and sort of send a message to the rest of the league, and we weren't able to do that. I remember personally being frustrated after that game with myself.
Well, just let me say something. Going forward in the future.
Let's hear you, Mike.
Listen, going forward in the future, it's probably best to have Giannis with you.
Always sound advice. Let me tell you this too, and before we go, we'll let you split. But I know you got an initiative off the court, an East Africa clean water initiative. Give me the down low on that, and tell me how it's working.
Yes, so I have a nonprofit organization called Hoops 2.0. I work with Chris Long, who runs Water Boys. We basically build clean water wells in East Africa and Tanzania. So every summer I go over there. I raise money through the season. I have 4 other guys in the NBA that are helping me raise money on different teams. And I'm trying to just raise as much money as I can to build more wells. And then I go visit the people in Africa and see sort of the impact it has.
How much does it cost for a well?
$45,000.
I'll give you $45,000.
There we go.
I'll give you $45,000 right now.
And you should name it the Chuck Well. Make it extra big.
We can. We put the names. If you give enough money for a well, we put your name, and that well is named after.
Well, it's done. Well, just put one here called Cheapskate, and Kenny. Hey, you got $45,000. I want a well.
I
appreciate it, man.
You take a 2-0 lead. You got a new well, and
hey,
you
come
hit
up
the
for
road
game
to
3.
Toronto.
You might get a couple more wells.
Right. And his Virginia Cavaliers won the national championship this year. I would like him to narrate my life now, please, says Nick Schilling.
Got all sexy
Barry
voice.
White. He got that Barry
Turn
White.
off the lights.
Teddy Pendergrass.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you stopping by, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you in Toronto.
Guys cut it to 13 near the end. You guys had a little momentum there. Is there anything, especially particularly during that stretch run, is there anything that you saw tonight that you liked that you can take with you going into Game 3?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think again, going back to some keys to our series is we've got to continue to work, the offense for shots, right? And again, I sound like a broken record up here, but we had our share of wide open shots that could have at least stymied a little bit of the breakout in the score. But we got to make sure we continue to work for them. But listen, I thought again we just weren't quite physical enough, right? We weren't getting our screen set good enough. We weren't getting them off their screens good enough as well. And we're going to have to be better, or they're just going to look bigger than stronger than we are. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. We got to play a little tougher.
Game 3 Sunday, right here on TNT. In Toronto. Meantime, the Western Conference Finals, also a 2-0 situation. Golden State over Portland. The Blazers had a 17-point lead and let it slip away in Game 2. They were up 8 with in the late stages of the game, up 108-100 and fall 114-111. Here's what they were saying after the game.
We know we got a lot of firepower on our team. When we go down 10, 15 points, Coach always said we can get back in a second. You just got to play defense and get stops.
Seems like when the defense concentrates on Steph and Clay, you guys getting backdoor layups, you and Iguodala. How do you guys keep that going for Game 3?
Steph and Clay deserve a lot of attention from the other team, and they get trapped a lot. So we used to catching the ball in the pocket. They always tell us to be aggressive and make the right play. We got guys like Andre and Draymond, who's some of the smartest players in the league. So we know on the backside is a big. If we in the right spot, we usually don't score.
When you're a threat out there, it'll open it up for another guy who the other team wouldn't quite give as much respect to. You kind of pick and choose your poison, and our system with the way the ball moves and the way our shooters are a threat, we have guys who take advantage of those situations and opportunities that come their way.
Most people on this team were on the team last year, so we understand what it feels like to win a NBA championship. So we know when it's time to step up and our name's called, we got to produce.
And now we head to Portland for Game 3. Now, I asked you this after Game 1. I'll ask you after Game 2. Is your confidence in Portland shaken at all by what you've seen through these 2 games?
Not after Game 1. Very disappointed after the game last night. You got that lead. You have an 8-point lead. A 8-point lead with a couple minutes to go. You can't lose that game. But I would like to tell the whole NBA something.
Okay.
The Golden State Warriors have 3 of the greatest shooters who ever lived. 8 teams, they're the number 8 team in the NBA.
In attempts.
They have the 3 greatest shooters who ever lived. So there are 7 other dummies that are shooting more threes than them. They make more twos than any good team in the NBA. Feel free to shoot a 2 every now and then. You got leads. You don't have to jack up threes from a distance. Listen, I know all this analytical thing is taking over because, these son-in-laws of their rich daddies have to give them a job in the NBA. But the game is still won on twos, defense, and rebounding. So, Portland, I think I still got confidence in you. You don't have to shoot threes all the time. You can, laying it up or in mid-range.
They shot it pretty well last night, man, nearly 50%.
But not when it mattered. Hey, not when it mattered. Go back and look at the last 3.
I know. I know what happened down the stretch.
Yeah, down the stretch is when you have to get baskets.
Golden State is back to their original 1-2 punch, Steph and Clay. They're definitely going to be a rhythm. So if you're talking about shooting any team versus that, I'm going to always go with Steph and Clay. The problem with Portland is both those guys don't have good games all the time. When they do, they're hard to beat. And I think the last shot, I love Dame, no disrespect to him, but CJ's rolling. I think, CJ should have had that ball for the last shot.
I think, overall, with Kevin Durant, they are a dynasty. But we're also reminded that they're a championship team without him. They're just not a dynasty, because what happens is then those guys, Troy Bell comes in.
Jordan Bell. Yeah.
Jordan Bell comes back in. Then you have Livingston comes back in. You have everyone. And sorry, Jordan, aim high, Jordan. But they all come back and fill in the role because they still know where the ball is going first.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. And they draw so much attention that you have to guard them at the hash mark. You cannot guard them when they get to half court. You have to guard them before. It's difficult to guard.
I still believe in the Portland Trail Blazers. They got to come out. They must win these next 2 games, but I still believe in them.
123-81. Stephen Clay leading Lillard and McCollum in the backcourt.
There you go, A-Rod.
Series.
Aaron Rodgers, 6 more to go.
That's indeed.
You're right, A-Rod.
Giannis, 30 points, 17 rebounds. 4th 30-point game of these
playoffs.
Easily.
Boy, say it,
We're
Kenny.
coming back.
Who's in the